You've made it. We are on day 5, the last day of the Calm Copy Challenge. Hurrah! So, like I said yesterday, today will take slightly longer because we've got one final task to do before we get into pulling this all together to magic you up a service or sales page. So, again, final reminder, imperfect action beats no action. So, we're going to ditch the overthinking. I think there'll be less of it for you today anyway, and jump straight into the task. So, the last piece of the puzzle for our service or sales page is to gather some social proof. So, we want to find some reviews of your service or your product. Or if you don't have any reviews, think of feedback that clients have given you, and we're going to try and find some common themes. So we're focusing on what have people said, where did they see the value, what was the outcome that they experienced after buying your thing or using your service. So less writing for you today, which is weird, right? Because you're going to end up with a service or sales page at the end of this. So I'm going to set a timer just like I have done for the other days. What I'd love you to do, if you've got reviews, is to go to wherever you get them, whether that's on Google Business or Facebook or people email them to you. Go and grab a handful of them and whack them into a document. Just copy and paste them over and put them into a document. And then I want you to read through them and really read through them, actively read through them. And as you're doing that, bold any words or phrases that come up again and again. So it might be repeated things that people say about you or your product. And we want to kind of hone in on what they are. You might find some really golden phrases in there that could be used in your copy. Highlight anything that stands out to you, basically. If you don't have any reviews, then take this time instead to jot down some notes about people that you've spoken to about your service or product and what they've said. And we want to get that down on the page. So I'm going to set your last 7-minute timer. This is your final one. Ready, set, go. All right, that's your 7 minutes up. Hopefully, that was enough time for you to get all of your reviews copied and pasted, on all, a handful of your reviews copied and pasted over. And you've had a bit of time to spend with them, reading all the wonderful things that people have experienced when they've said yes to working with you or buying your product. I'd recommend looking at those once in a while just to remind you how great you are. All right, so that is all the content creation that we needed to do to now be ready to try and turn it into a service or sales page. And this is where it gets a bit experimental. All right, so we're going to try and edit now with a little help from a robot. And so I've been using AI a lot more to help me with my work. And while I find that it's a bit rubbish at writing from scratch, it's all in the briefing. And so what you've generated over the last 5 days is a really comprehensive brief for a robot to take over and do the perfectionism piece, which is the bit that is the hardest. I feel like trying to now polish this, structure it, pull it together into something that you can share and put out in the world. By removing the overthinking, we've got all of the different things that we might want to share about your product or service down into one document. Might be a small document, might be a big document, depending on how much you've generated this week. And that's going to give AI what it needs to create something that's unique to you, rather than pulling from other people's words and ideas. So let's bring on the robot. You've basically made it through the Calm Copy Challenge at this point. We're handing everything over to AI to help us with now. So all I need you to do is put everything that you've created, including those reviews, into one document. Hopefully you would have started that process yesterday and you've just got to add your reviews now. Copy and paste it all into one document. And you'll find in the comments below that I've already prepped you a prompt to give to AI. This week's been quite prompt heavy, hasn't it? I've given you lots of prompts throughout the week, and now we're going to give our final prompt to ChatGPT or whatever AI you would like to use. So you can see that it's on the screen here. You'll need to edit these bits that are in kind of square brackets, right? So it's, hi, I want to write a sales or service page for whatever your service or product is. I'm a dog trainer. I run a pet shop, whatever it is. I help, who are the people that you work with, who are struggling with or who want, and you've identified this problem or desires this week, to what? So try and fill in those gaps. Don't overthink it too much. Remember, you've done all the generating this week. So, your AI of choice is not only going to pull from what you write in this beginning bit, it's going to pull from everything else that you've generated this week. So if you find this bit a little bit tricky, try not to overthink it. Just put in like the most plain and simple answer to those bracketed pieces. Then we tell it, I've made some notes. Can you please use them to write a sales page, including? I want it to give you 5 short headline options that address the problem your audience faces or the outcome that they desire. Sometimes it generates quite crap headlines, so you might need to play around with these afterwards. I find it's helpful to always ask it for a handful of them rather than just one, so that you can then pick and choose which bits you like. And remember, you can always reprompt it afterwards, okay? I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. One introduction section which details the problem they have in the solution. So that's the opener for the page so that people can recognize themselves immediately. We want features and benefits, like what is the offer, what's the service, what's the product, and why should I care, benefits. We want some reviews and testimonials pulled out. And we want to tell them how they can book or buy. And then I've asked it, please include subheaders and bullet points throughout to break up the copy. Then you copy and paste this from the comments below. It'll be below this video, so that you can just copy and paste it. And then add your notes, so everything that you've put into your document this week, below it. And let ChatGPT or whatever AI you're using do its thing. Now, you may find that you have a finished product right off the bat. You may find that some of the sections are quite lengthy, or that it's used words that are not words that you would use. So you might need to do a bit of refining and editing yourself with what it spits out, or you might find that you're happy with it as it is. Don't be afraid to re-prompt ChatGPT or whatever AI you're using. Tell it which bits you like, tell it which bits you don't like. If you want it to be shorter or more punchy, if you want more bullet points or more subheaders, just tell it what you want. Do you know what's great about working with AI versus working with a human? You're not so worried about upsetting it. So tell it and it will keep refining. And then put all of that into a brand new document. And I'd love it if you'd share what it's spat out with me in the comments below. So you can link to a document is probably the easiest way to do it. I use Google Drive. So if you put it in a Google Doc, you'll get a link for that document that you can just paste in the comments below. And then I will have a look at what it's produced and give you some feedback on it so that you can finish refining it and hopefully end up with a service page or sales page that makes you feel proud. So we've finished the call again within 15 minutes, but I appreciate that you might need a little bit of extra time to do that, getting it into ChatGPT or whatever you're using and refining it. Please do share it with me though, and please share with me what this experience has been like, both from a day-to-day point of view in terms of doing the tasks, how's that felt, and probably most importantly from the outcome point of view. Have you ended up with something that is useful at the end, or has it been a bit disappointing? This has been an experiment, so it's okay if it's disappointing. If what it's spat out is, completely useless and it hasn't got you to where you want it to go, please tell me that, because the whole point of this is for me to know if it works or not. And that's why I'm also asking to share the documents with me that you produce, so I can review and see where, if it hasn't worked very well, where I could tweak the process to make it work better. So thank you very much if you've stuck with me this long, for taking part and for giving it a whirl and for being productive for 15 minutes every day this week. And I look forward to seeing what ChatGPT spits out. See you soon.